So, John, you hear a lot of soldiers on the streets, the E6s, the E9s, talk about this thing called the QMP board. What is that?
Yeah, the QMP tends to sneak up quite a bit on a lot of our enlisted members. What it is, it's a program that the Army manages to determine whether or not an enlisted member should continue in service. And the basis for this isn't always about misconduct. It could be about a variety of things. It could be about height and weight. It could be bad NCOERs. It could be referred NCOERs. So there's a broad range of things that trigger a QMP, and there's certainly a broad range of ways we can address them.
Can a company commander tell an NCO, like a senior NCO, hey, I'm going to send this to the QMP?
No, a commander does not have the authority to initiate the QMP. Rather, the QMP comes from the Department of Army Suitability Evaluation Board, which is a long acronym that we refer to as the DASEB. The DASEB usually triggers the QMP with unfavorable information of a different type of variety, whether that's something bad in your record, such as a GOMAR in your record, a referred NCOER, or other types of unfavorable information.
All right, so what happens is some bad paper winds up in your official file. The suitability board sees it and refers it to the QMP. QMP then notifies the soldier, hey, you need to tell us why you shouldn't be kicked out of the military.
That's right.
Okay. And what are the rights of NCO who's been notified that they're being QMP'd?
Well, they don't have the right to appear before the board because the board actually takes place by members who are situated in DC. And the only right that the soldier really has is to conduct a paper form of response to the board.
Why should an NCO hire the law office of William Helixon to help them in responding to a QMP?
We have dealt with a lot of QMPs in our practice. We know all the different nuances of how to possibly remove the unfavorable information that supports the QMP itself, thereby eliminating the QMP altogether, or challenging the QMP process itself by attacking the underlying allegations that may support it, or the underlying reasons, the bad information that may be in a soldier's file.
So as I understand it, there are several things that can be done. We can try to remove it from the official file, the bad paper. We can go back and kind of reopen the investigation that gave rise to the bad paper. We could say the bad paper shouldn't have been put in there in the first place. And then we could create a mitigation case explaining why this soldier should be retained in the United States Army. All of those things are what we can do.
Correct, and an NCO should never try and do these things on their own.
All right, what are some of the things that you would want a soldier to include in a response to the QMP?
Well, if it's a response to the allegations themselves, if the underlying allegation is one of misconduct, then we would closely get to know what the nature of that misconduct was in the past. And that comes by working very closely with the soldier, the NCO, and determining what it was in the past that initiated this QMP, whether it be an allegation of misconduct or whether it be some sort of bad paper. Either way, we would want to include a broad range, a multifaceted attack against the QMP in several different ways.
Yeah, we'd want to put it in context. We'd want to provide defenses. We'd also want to provide an explanation as to what happened. And then it's important to also add what is the leadership position that you've held since the misconduct? How have you handled yourself from a professional perspective? What are your achievements and contributions since the misconduct? The fact that you've had the misconduct or the incident given rise to the QMP and this board happens a year, maybe a year and a half later, that your performance during that period of time is very important to determine whether or not that soldier is retained or allowed to be QMP.
That's correct. We can get very creative with our response. Many times a soldier has completely recovered and soldiered on past the misconduct, past the substandard performance that triggered the QMP, and we're able to use that to our advantage.
Let's not forget, these are senior non-commissioned officers, usually E7s, E8s, who are facing QMP. And if they are QMP, they lose their retirement. And a retirement is worth millions of dollars amortized over the life of the soldier. And that's a lot to lose over a DUI or an affair or, fraternization.
That's correct, and that's certainly one of the things that we would want to assert and make sure that we are driving the point home on that with the QMP and in our response to the QMP, is that if a retirement is on the table, they need to take this very seriously.
So if you want to protect your future and you want to protect your retirement, you should probably speak to a lawyer at the law office of Will M. Helixon or another civilian defense counsel, but you shouldn't go it alone.
Absolutely.
We are the law office of Will M. Helixson. We are your warrior advocates. You defend the nation, we defend you.